Okay. Thanks to everybody who's going to watch this later on. I just wanted to jump on with Amy, and then Kristen's going to join us in a few minutes and kind of talk to them about the process of going fast gold. Amy actually hit it, and Kristen, we missed it by 3 people. But both of these ladies achieved this in a 3-week time period. During Amy's 30 days, she took a week off to go camping and didn't have any service. And we still accomplished it in 3 weeks. And then Kristen, we didn't even talk about fast gold until after her first week. So she accomplished what she accomplished in 3 weeks. And I know if we would have had like 1 or 2 more days, we would have hit it with her. So I just wanted to kind of talk to them about what the process was like for them from the beginning to the end, and then what it's been like afterwards, just to kind of let everybody know, like, this is obtainable and it's not really something to be afraid of, and it's doable for just about anybody. So anyways, so since Amy's the only one on here, we're going to start with her. Let me get my questions here. Find them first. Okay. Okay. Amy, I don't even remember what order these went in. I think the first one was, what were your initial thoughts when the opportunity was presented to you? So because I think Poppy mentioned it to you first, and then we jumped in a 3-way. So what was your very first thought whenever we brought this to your attention?
I think when I first heard of Plexus, I was just so excited to find something like it, because I had never heard of a multi-level marketing company that had something that dealt with gut health before. And of course, I always thought, like, if there's something out there that will help my skin, I'll for sure sell it, because I've tried everything. So once I find something, I'll sell it, right? But I never found anything. And so before I even ordered Plexus, I was like, if this works for me, I'm going to sell this and I'm going to do awesome, because there's going to be so many people that don't even just have skin issues, but have so many other issues, right? So if it works for me, I know that it's going to work for other people. And I couldn't even sleep, like, for a few days. I was like telling my husband, like, this is going to be awesome if it works for me, right? And so I think I was just really, really excited and just had that vision, like, right from the get-go. And so I think when you look at it from, like, a positive aspect right from the start, and that's kind of your goal right from the start, your chances of it actually working for you are going to be better, compared to people that I know who have, like, been really, really skeptical and kind of looking for ways for it not to work. It's not going to work, you know? So I made a few notes here. Yeah, I think my initial thoughts were excitement. I had no idea about the compensation plan. I had no idea what kind of money I wanted to make. It was just like, if it works, I'm going to share it.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that you have that excitement about that, because you're right. You're like, if you go into it expecting it not to work, then you're going to look for every reason for it not to work. And you're going to miss all of the good that's actually happening with it, because you're looking for the negative so much. So for those of you that don't know Amy, she is in Canada. She has grown a team in Canada. So for her to have this opportunity, one, to go fast gold and have the income opportunity, and it was huge in itself, but then for it to be so new up there for them, then, I mean, the door was wide open for her, and still is. She's still constantly talking to people and adding people and stuff like that. So I've got chills right now talking about it, because I'm reliving the whole conversation and stuff with you about how excited everything was. So that's exciting. And like I said, like, I'm glad that you had the thought process that you did before even starting anything, because I think that sets you up for even better success going through this whole process. So so whenever we came to you about, hey, let's add 20 people in 1 month, in 30 days, let's see if we can do this, and you were pretty much all for it. Once we kind of explained what it looked like and stuff, you were pretty much all for it. So did you feel confident at that time that you would be able to accomplish this, or did you kind of have some doubts about it?
I kind of got like an initial 3. I think I hit fast silver 2. Obviously I would have. And then I think once I hit about 9 people, that's when you came in and asked me about doing my launch party, and said, like, if you get 20, think of this financially, what it could do for you. And I was kind of like, I'm never going to get there. But then I just decided to go all in and do my best to try. And I followed whatever steps I thought would work for me. And it was like every day I'd get 1 or 2, up until like the last hour. I think it was Poppy. I don't know if you remember, but it was like just pushing for that last one. And like, Plexus was helping with my anxiety, but like that few days, I was like so anxious. And once it was done, I was like exhausted. Like, I was just like, I did it, and now I can breathe. And now like, I don't know what to do with these people that I have, but it's just like the maintenance after that. But no, I don't feel like I was like totally sure I was going to do it, but I was going to try my hardest.
Yeah, definitely. And I could tell kind of in the beginning, you're like, oh, okay, that sounds good. And you're like, okay, yeah, I mean, I can try for it, kind of thing. And like, obviously Poppy knows you better than I do, but Poppy had confidence that you could do that. And that was one of the reasons that me and her had the conversation first. And she was like, I think she can do this. And I was like, well, I mean, if you think she can, like, let's at least bring it up to her and see her thoughts on it and stuff like that. So, I keep getting goosebumps talking about all this because it was just very recently, because that was in July, and into the beginning of August, right? And so I'm going to end up getting emotional through this conversation too.
Probably. I'm 14 weeks pregnant, so I cry over everything lately.
I do too. And like, I always tell my girls, like, their success is way more important to me and means way more to me than my own success. So whenever somebody accomplishes something major like this, that's on my team, like it's just huge. It's huge for me. So probably just as much as it is for you, and it doesn't affect me at all. but anyways, so okay, so whenever you found out how much money it was going to be, how much the bonus was, because you hit it during double bonus month, so you not only got the $700 bonus, the double bonus, or the Fast Gold bonus, but you got double that, and then plus all of the welcome pack bonuses and everything. So when we first threw that number out to you, what was your first thoughts on
that? I just got thinking, what am I going to do with it? Like, I mean, we ended up paying off debt that has been following us for 10 years that we've been slowly working on, but it was we were just able to finish that little payment off. And so that freed up a good chunk of our monthly income already. So that's something that we just don't even worry about anymore. So it's just kind of like something we knew that was in close reach, but we just knocked it off right away, which is really, really awesome. But that made me want to push for it even more, like that double bonus month. I guess they don't do that often, as far as I know, to do double bonuses, but I was really lucky to.
Yeah, I was lucky that it felt like that. So I've been in the company 3.5 years, and that was only the second time that they had done it.
Okay.
So, yeah, so your timing could not have been more perfect on that. Yeah. And oh my gosh, I just almost cried whenever you said you were able to pay off that little bit of debt. Because I mean, I say little, no debt is little debt, but I mean, to some families, like, that is major impact on them. So I love that. And the fact that you just did it just in your first month. I mean, it wasn't over a course of 6 months or a year. It was in your first month. So that's awesome. So I'm gonna stop right here. Poppy, I want to ask you, going through up to this point, before she, like when we were talking about like the income potential and stuff like that, from the time we started the conversation with her to the time that she said that she was going to do it, what was your like thoughts and feelings going through that since you're her upline?
I really had no doubt that she'd be able to do it. The amount of people that she'd been adding just blew me away from the get-go. But what Amy said at the beginning of the call, where she talked about being so enthusiastic and like, if this works, I'm going to share about it. Like, she was excited, she couldn't sleep, and what she talked about, not looking for the negative. I think that's what holds up so many people, is they are looking for that negative, and then it won't work. But with, like, you can tell from the beginning of the call, Amy was enthusiastic. And so with her attitude, I knew all along that she was going to hit it. Like, those last few days, they were major crunch time for us. And I was helping her sign up people just like she was signing up people, So it was a lot of work, way more for her than me. But I just, with her enthusiasm, I had no doubt that she would reach it.
You helped much, both of you. I couldn't believe like how much you guys wanted it as much as I did. And without your help and like encouragement to do it, I wouldn't have kept pushing, because for someone to tell you like you can get 20 when you really don't feel like you can get 20 is really, really awesome. So the support is really, really huge. So,
Yeah,
thanks,
absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like for something that big, to accomplish something that major that not very many people in this company have done, you have to have all of the support you can, because you're reaching out to a gazillion people in a very short amount of time, and you're going to get told no, and you have this major goal and you're in a time crunch. It's not just that you have this major goal to hit in, 6 months or a year. You have 30 days to hit it. And so to have people to have your back and pushing for you, and I know Poppy was like posting a lot and then tagging you in it and stuff like that, and staying on top of your posts and commenting and stuff to make sure they're seen and answering questions and stuff. Like, I think that was huge, and made a huge impact on your success in that short time, for sure.
I have someone at the door. Sorry, it's distracting.
No, you're good.
I'll just ignore it.
Okay, so question 3, walk me through the process. How did you decide who to reach out to first? Like, did you just start reaching out to people, or did you have like a list, or did you have like people in your mind that you wanted to tell first, or kind of walk me through that?
I'm trying to remember exactly how I did it, because one of my, thank you. Sorry, I'm just on a phone call. I left it. Thank you so much. I don't know how she got it. My neighbor brought my dog home. I don't know how she got out of the yard. Anyway, I just ignored you. Sorry. Well, I'm trying to think if I posted. I made a public post on Plexus, and I think that was one of my first ways of reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd only been using it for like a week, and I just said what I had been feeling so far, and that I was really excited about it. And then I started reaching out to people. So, and I started writing, like, I took tips. Writing your 100 list, and I don't even have 100 people on my list right now. I think I have 75, because I couldn't actually even think of 100. But I did go and like message people privately, and just telling them about it, I guess. And then some people took it and some people didn't. I guess out of the 75, that's where I would have got my 20.
Yeah. Okay. So you didn't have any set, like, I got to tell these people first. You just kind of just start writing names down and then just went from there?
I think on my list, like when I start writing it, I think of people who jump into my mind right away, right? So like family who, struggle with certain things, or friends who struggle with things that you think Plexus can help them with. And then after a while, it just gets down to people that, but you don't really know that well, and you might reach out to them eventually. And I don't think I reached out to them all right away, but it's just like an ongoing list, I guess, that I have, and I need to keep adding to it. But yeah, one thing that I got from one of the hundreds of training videos that I think I watched in that first time was just to do that. And that's kind of what I did too. It was just, you hear so much training and different ways to do things. And I just started doing what suited me and what matched kind of my personality. I didn't do necessarily everything that everyone's told to do, but just what I thought I could do and would be good at doing.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, is like, even now that you've been doing this a couple months, like, there's so much training opportunity out there, and so many different things out there, that you just take what's going to work for you and what you feel is going to work best for you, and then you take that and you run with it, which is what you did. And that's why you were so successful right out of the gate, is because you just did what you knew you could do and what you were capable of in that short amount of time, and then you took it and you ran with it. So I love that. Did you just compose like one message and just kind of copy and paste it to everybody, or did you have like several different kinds of messages that you sent out? Can you give us an example of one or two messages you used?
Oh, shoot. I didn't write this down with it, but I probably had a fairly generic message. I'm sure I could go back in my messages and find one, but shoot.
Okay. If you can't think of it, that's fine. Whenever I post the recording of this video, will you just maybe just post it in the comments? If there was one or two messages you used?
Something like, you've probably seen my video, or maybe you've seen my video on Plexus. But I've seen, like, I would go through people's posts if they said like, on my 5th cup of coffee or something, and make it kind of personal that way, and just say like, I saw your post on your coffee, and I just wanted to let you know that this is giving me so much energy. I don't know if you're interested. And kind of left it at that. And most people honestly ignored it. I would say majority of people ignore my messages, but some people didn't. And there's still some people who I messaged way back then who haven't tried it, who I'm still hoping will one day. But I think one thing huge that I've taken away from it is that most people are going to say no, and that's something I can't take personally. I know we probably all deal with that, but it is hard to not take that personally when people say like they don't even want to try it. And for me, it's like, why would you not? And I was so excited about it, but I also have to remember I had researched so much about gut health before I found Plexus. And so many people out there have nothing, like they don't know anything about how gut health links to so many other health problems.
Yeah, I was one of those people. I had never even heard the term gut health until I started talking to Rachel. Never, like, and it was so funny because like she would like send me voice messages and stuff, and like every time she said the word gut health, it was almost like it was a dirty word. Like I can't believe she's saying that kind of thing. It was so weird. It was so funny. But you're right. And one thing that we always talk about is go for the no, because typically it may take 1, 2, 3 years, but typically those no's eventually turn into a yes. I've had several customers who right out of the gate told me no, who have come back, several years later and asked questions and stuff. So it's just one of those, you just keep the relationship with those people and then, keep following up and stuff like that. And eventually they'll get curious and start asking questions. So, because like you said, it's just something that not very many people know about. Yeah. But the fact that this stuff is Health Canada approved, I know that's something major for you guys. Major, because Health Canada is way more strict on stuff than like the FDA here is. So for you to have that in your corner back here, I think is major for you.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what were your overall feelings through the process? I know you said kind of in the beginning, you were just kind of, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to go for it kind of thing. But then you said, once people kind of started coming and stuff like that, like, how did you feel about all of that?
I was mostly really excited for people to get started, and for people that were excited like I was. I didn't actually find many people who had the same excitement, I think, as I did. But a lot of people just really desperate to find health, like healing. And then when people started saying yes, it was like, okay, I can do this. It just builds your confidence every time someone trusts what you've said. And it's all, oh, there's Kristen.
There's Kristen.
Yeah, so I think there was a lot of like a roller coaster of excitement, and then you feel kind of like a failure if someone says no, but then 2 people sign up and it's awesome. So it was a roller coaster for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured it would be. Yay, Kristen got on.
Oh, can she hear?
I don't know. I think she's having trouble with her sound. We'll let her kind of get that situated here. Okay, so you said once you hit the 30-day mark and you're like, done, over, I accomplished it, I did it. You were exhausted, but like, what was the overall feeling of
that? Yeah, I think I'd been working so hard at it, and emotionally it was just like I was tired. Even physically, like I felt like every spare minute I had, I was just pouring into Plexus and into the people that were considering signing up or had signed up. And Poppy was for sure a huge help in that too. She kind of filled in whatever gaps that I couldn't get to, which was awesome. Obviously super excited and really also feeling overwhelmed. It was like all of a sudden I had this huge team. I got people to sign up, but now what do I do with that team? And so that's when I just started asking Poppy, like, what do I do now? I feel like I'm just sitting here, and I guess I could have kept going, but I physically and mentally just felt like I can't just keep pushing to sign up people. I really felt like I needed to learn how to maintain what I had done. And so I really took a back seat, and I feel like I'm just slowly starting to get my amp up to do a little bit more now, and just kind of taking care of the people that have started under me. So
yeah, I think that's great. And I love that you had that mindset that you're like, okay, now I have all these people, what am I supposed to do with it? Instead of just adding people and then just hanging out, we're like, okay, we'll see what happens, and that's where, the 3-way conversations that you had already had started with Poppy and stuff like that come into play. And then, you were plugging them into the team pages and stuff like that. And basically at that point, because you're doing so much in that 30 days anyway, that's basically all you can do up to that point. And then after that is when you kind of start taking the steps like, okay, I need to make sure these people are plugged in where they need to be. Are they going to stay wholesale? Are they going to continue on and want to share? Trying to figure out where to plug them in from there. So I think you did great there. Okay, I'm going to pause right there. And then I'm going to go through these questions with Kristen, and then you guys can both answer. I think there's only like 3 more questions after that you guys can both answer. Hey, Kristen.
Sorry, I'm just now getting on.
Nope, you're good. You're good. We're only 4 questions in, so you're good.
Okay.
No, we're only 3 questions in, so you're good.
All right.
Okay, so first off, I want to know, so prior to this journey starting, so Amy is under Poppy, and Poppy's on my team, but Kristen is directly under me, and me and Kristen did not know each other prior to this. I had actually we had became friends on Instagram and then became friends on Facebook, and I had actually stalked her for a while. She's actually one of my dream teamers. As soon as I saw her on Instagram, I was like, I'm getting this girl on my team. I don't know what's going to take. I don't know what that's going to look like, but she's getting on my team. Just because a lot of like just her presence in general on Instagram, and she had quite a few followers and stuff. She's real into fitness and working out and stuff, which is something that I really enjoy. And then once I started following her on Facebook and she was posting like about everyday life and stuff, a lot of her story and stuff that she would post about was very similar to mine. And so at that point, I definitely knew, like, that was like my sign that, like, okay, 1, she needs these products. 2, she's going to benefit very much from them. And 3, she's going to be able to be my Rockstar Dream Teamer. So, so I met Kristen, and then a couple days later, she started like commenting on my Plexus posts and stuff like that. And then I got her on an event, and then from there, like, the rest is just history. She started the products, had results almost right away. And then after the first week, I had mentioned, which it was right after Joyome came out. So she wanted Joyome, so we got her signed up wholesale. And then we started talking about handing out samples, and then like the rest is just history. I talked to her about Fast Gold. She's like, yep, let's do it. Let's go. Let's hit the ground running. So, so Kristen, what were your initial thoughts whenever we talked about Fast Gold and what that looked like and what that would entail? What was your first initial thoughts on that?
Well, honestly, I was just all in from the get-go. I mean, I had like a week on the products. I think it was a week before I ordered Joyome and went wholesale. It might have been longer, but I was already feeling a world of difference in the products. And so, number 1, I felt a difference with the products already. And then, of course, with the income possibilities, that's huge for our family. And me already believing in the products is really, really what drove the train for me. And I was like, I'm all in. I want to do it. And it didn't take much thought for me, really. I was just ready.
Yeah, and I remember you asking me, like, you were all in and you were all about it, but then I remember asking me, like, do you think I can do this? Do you think this is possible? But I knew you had a huge following on Instagram, and then you have like a gazillion friends just on Facebook, and then I found out later you have a gazillion friends in real life too. So like a lot of your friends on Facebook are actually real life friends. So I had just like Poppy said with Amy, like, I had no doubt in my mind that you were going to be able to accomplish this. And like I said before you got on, I feel like if we would have had 2 more days, we would have hit it, because what we accomplished with your 17 people, we did that in 3 weeks. Like, huge to get that many people in just 3 weeks. So, yeah. And like I said, and in the beginning, like, you had, I'll have you guys share a little bit of your testimony at the end, but I mean, you had such good results right out of the gate. I feel like that was a very big driving force for you. And that's what Amy said. She was like, if this works for me, like, I'm all in. Like, I'm just going to share it with everybody, because Amy had not done a lot of research and stuff about gut health prior to even hearing about Plexus.
Oh,
so
wow.
she had something fall in her lap that deals with everything that she's been researching all this time. And so she hit the ground running as well. So, okay, next question. Did you feel confident once you made the decision to take the leap and go for it? We kind of talked about that just now, but is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah. Like, you know what? I mean, I kind of went back and forth on my own confidence, but whenever I lacked, you picked up the slack. So you were my great reinforcement and encourager, and like, I couldn't have done any of it without you, of course. So that was the big key for me.
Yeah, and we talked about that too, about having that extra support, because like what you're doing in such a short amount of time is huge. Like not very many people in the company do it. And you're messaging so many people, some of them you probably don't even know, and you're going to get turned down. And then hearing no so many times on something that's so new to you and so exciting to you that you're sitting here thinking, I don't understand why nobody would want to try this. That's very hard. So having that extra support and having somebody get your back who's been there and done that and been through all of this to say, just keep going, you know, you can do this, you know, just keep going, I feel like is huge, especially during a process like this, because there's so much involved in this.
Definitely.
So, okay, so we kind of touched on the income a second ago, but when you found out about how much money this bonus was going to be, plus the welcome pack bonuses, like what was your first thought on that?
Oh gosh. Well, I was just ecstatic. First of all, you know, just the thought of getting my products paid for was really big for me. And then because I'm sold on these products, like I can't tell you how much better I felt. So I knew right off the bat that I was going to be ordering every month, at least the Triplex. But of course, I've added way more to that since then. So initially, just getting my products covered was great. But the bonus, of course, is just huge. I mean, would make a big impact on our family. It could be a trip, you know, a trip to Red River.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's crucial. And that was kind of my goal, you know, was well, I knew like when I got towards the end of the month and I was really, really close, and I was like not going to be too hard on myself, because I know I'm having way long-term goals with Plexus, and you know, it's going way past just that, my try for fast gold. So I'm in it for the long haul, but that bonus, yes, that would have been a game changer for sure. So, and I almost made it.
Yeah, it almost made it. So, okay, talking about the income, whenever we first talked about this and was talking about goals, she mentioned long-term goals. So past getting to fast gold, we're talking long-term goals, 6 months, a year from now, stuff like that. Talking about the income, will you kind of touch a little bit, if you feel comfortable doing this, about the survivor's benefits that you were getting and kind of what the goal was with that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll make this long story like short, but the father of my 3 boys passed in 2013, and since then I get survivor benefits every month, and that's pretty much our income. Like that's how I take care of the boys, or you know, that's how I pay some bills and get groceries and get them clothes and everything they need. But that's not going to last forever, and so I'm already like, what would I do, you know, whenever we don't get that anymore? And so this is huge for me, because I know that I can replace that. And I'm hoping, you know, within the time frame that I'm expecting, that I can do that. And that's what I'm working towards.
So this was almost kind of like a blessing in disguise that kind of fell in your lap, because you know that there's a cutoff point to that survivor benefit, but you got into this early enough that you have enough time to produce the income to replace that income that you'll be losing.
Exactly.
Yeah, whenever she first told me that, like I keep telling you guys, I get like chills and emotional and stuff about all of this, about like when you guys succeed and stuff like that. But whenever she first told me that story, I mean, because I think you have what, like 2 or 2.5 years left on that?
Actually, I think I have a little bit longer, but you know what? I'm not exactly sure when it's going to cut off. And to be honest, this is going to sound funny, but you know, the government is so finicky that I don't call and have them snoop into things, because that scares me. I don't know what they might come up with. And so I'm really not sure. I think they said when my youngest was 16 that it would all stop, and he's 8 now. So, I mean, I'd have plenty of time if that's the case. But, you know, when all this happened and I was going through getting the survivor benefits, it's all kind of fuzzy because I was going through such a bad time. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's kind of crazy how things work like that, because this obviously wasn't something you were expecting, but you were already thinking in your mind, like, how am I going to replace this income? Like, what are we going to do when this income isn't coming in anymore? And now you've got into Plexus with enough time for you to build your business and build your empire to be able to replace that income whenever it's gone. So, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm reliving, like I was reliving Amy's process and story, and now I'm reliving yours, and it gets me crazy. Okay, so walk me through the process of this. So how did you decide who to reach out first? Like, did you just start messaging people? Did you have know who you're going to reach out to first right away? Did you just start making lists and messaging people? How was that process?
Yeah, I made a list right away, and it was pretty easy to get a big list, like right off the bat. But I started with close friends, family, and acquaintances, neighbors, stuff like that. And then what I did is I went through my phone, all my contacts, because there's people in your phone that you don't really talk to all the time, but you know each other. And so there was like quite a few names in my contacts that I was like, oh, and so I would jot their name down. And then I went through my Facebook friend list, and then there's quite a lot in there that I wouldn't have thought of right off the bat, but then I was like, yeah, I need to talk to them. And I forget how many I made the list of at first, but it was a lot. It was a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then
pretty big.
Yes. And so it wasn't too difficult to make a list. So
now, did you have, I know a lot of it we did like three-way conversations and stuff with, but did you have like just one kind of blanket message that you kind of tweaked a little bit for each person that you sent, or did you send an individual message to each person that was different?
Well, I pretty much kind of had a blanket message in a sense, but I would always personalize it though. I would start it out with a personal, kind of message. And if it was somebody that I knew or worked with or I hadn't seen in a while, I would tell them, something like, I've missed seeing you, and how's work going, blah, blah. And then I would go into how Plexus has affected my life in such a short term, and kind of go into a little bit of my story, but not overkill. And then ask them if that's something they would want to try. And that was pretty good. That worked out pretty well.
Yeah, you got a lot of people interested right out of the gate. So whenever I post the recording of this message, will you post like one or two of the messages that you sent in the comments, just so people can kind of see like your verbiage and kind of how you worded things?
Sure.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay, so once the 30 days was over, like you hit the 30-day mark and it was the next day, like how did you feel overall compared to the beginning and then now that it was over?
I was like tired, drained. And, I know that feeling, like when you were working for Leaders Retreat, because you work. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I need a minute. And I overwhelmed myself a lot. I spent pretty much any minute I had, like I would be up till midnight if I had to be, talking to people or answering questions. And I kind of felt an urgency to get back to people because I didn't want too much time lagging between them asking me something or whatever. So I was on messaging with people a lot of that time that month. So my second month, I slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah. And that's okay. And, it's hard to push so much for that. I mean, so now you guys know that now that you've done that, what it's like to push for like convention credits when the convention credit contest is going. And that's 4 months long. And then Leaders Retreat, that's 3 months long. So you guys did some like pushing like that and stuff like that in 30 days. So now, like once Leaders Retreat credit's over, everybody's like, oh, okay, we're done. Let's take the next month off because we don't want to talk to anybody, So, but now you've experienced that and you've had that mentality and stuff like that. So now going into these contests and stuff, what you're capable of doing because you accomplished what you did in a 30-day, or not even a 30-day period, in a 3-week period. So I love that. I'm excited. Okay, so now this question is for both of you. Amy, we'll start with you. How do you feel things could have been different through the process? So now that the process is over and you've kind of gone through it and stuff, do you feel like things could have been different as far as setting up expectations for you? I think things went pretty smoothly for the both of you actually. But like setting up expectations, and then like you said, like once you were done, you were like, okay, I don't know what to do with these people. So what do you think has been different?
I can't really say because I reached that in the 30 days. I feel like I wouldn't want to change anything because I reached it and that was my goal. I think, like I said earlier, it's the maintenance training maybe that I feel like I reached all that and I was so well supported through all that. And then all of a sudden it was like, what do I do with these people? And not that there's not training out there. I just felt maybe overwhelmed with how much there was. So it was just like, what specifically should I be doing? Because not everyone is in the same spot that I'm at. But just the maintenance training of what to do with your customers at this point and how to keep building, I guess.
Okay, so do you feel, let me ask you this now that you said that, do you feel, because I know you were doing kind of your own training, watching videos and stuff on the side within that 30-day period, on top of me reaching out to people and stuff like that. So do you feel like maybe there should be something that's catered and kind of geared more specifically to people going through this process, other than here's some messages to reach out, here's how to make your 100 list, and then like the maintenance part? Do you feel like if there's something just more specific to, okay, within your 30 days, this is what you need to be looking at, this is what you should be doing?
Maybe, although I don't ever want to say that there should be more of anything, because I know there's so much work put into our training. And I think it's just finding what's probably already out there. So for me, it's just organizing. Like, I'm not very good with Facebook and stuff. I'm getting better. But I feel like with the different groups I'm in, that was always overwhelming for me. And like, important, and where can I find videos? Or like, I came across something at some point and I forgot to save it. Like, how am I going to find that? But that's where I'm really grateful for people like you and Poppy to just, I'll ask where you find a video and maybe you'll have it. Or if you don't, there's the messaging groups that we're on too, right? So it's not that there's lack anywhere. It's just finding the right tools, and learning how to navigate your way through all the different training opportunities.
Yeah, that's good information. Okay, Kristen, your turn.
So there's really, like she said, nothing I would change. I mean, I felt like I had the support that I needed. And I feel like that you gave me all the tools I needed, and I had realistic expectations. I knew that it was going to be difficult. The only thing I can think of that I would have changed personally, and this is just, myself, is, whenever I first started my triplex that first week, I had a big results, like with pounds lost and inches lost, like right off the bat. But, I also was eating right and drinking my water and exercising. I did all the things that you should do. But I think what happened is that a lot of people that signed up with me right off the bat were really only intrigued by the inches and weight loss. But okay, so I would communicate with them, and they would have tons of symptoms on the Candida chart, like tons, like they need the triplex, they need gut health bad. And so, of course, I think I started all of them on the triplex, that whole first month, really, which is what they all needed to begin with. But it seems to me, that I had a lot of them that did not like the results right off the bat, because they weren't losing weight in inches. But that wasn't even remotely all that there was to it, if that makes sense. That's the only thing that I would change if I could go back, is I would kind of go into more detail with them about the whole package, and that their expectations shouldn't be outrageous. That it can take longer. And I know that you told me that, but I think that everything was moving so fast with people, and they were just loving, like wanting to see weight loss right off the bat. And when they didn't see that, they were just like, but. And
you're going to come across that with just about anybody anyway, especially if they're wanting weight loss. But then you talk to them about the Candida chart, and you say, okay, like we're going to get this under control too. Like, they want the quick fix. They want the results that they can see right away and know that it's actually working, versus the stuff that's going on inside that they, don't really know or can't really tell. So you're going to come across that with anybody. But yeah, I feel like I know what you're saying as far as like setting up better realistic expectations for them. Just because your journey is different from a lot of people's. Not everybody has such great success right out of the gate, but not everybody takes all the steps they need to right out of the gate either, like you did. So, okay, I'm with you on that. So, okay, let's talk about influence. Kristen, we'll start with you on this one. Did you feel like you had influence when you started the process? What about after? And then do you feel like your influence has grown through the process?
I feel like, I feel like I had influence to begin with. I kind of had a big base just with the running community. And I think that really helped me a lot, because I've talked to, established like friendships with people, through Facebook and through my running app, or my running deal too. And so I think that kind of had a lot to do with it. And with this being health related supplements, then, those kind of go together. And so I think that helped me a lot. And I think influence has continued to grow, I hope. That's kind of hard to tell. I mean, I feel like it has. So
It has a lot, just from what I've seen from being on the outside, just because like you're more knowledgeable because you had like your fitness and health knowledge and stuff already, but now you're adding all this new knowledge that you have about the body and how it works and the importance of supplementation and the right kind of supplementation and stuff like that. So that's growing and building on top of what you've already put out there with what you know. So yeah, I feel like your influence has continued to grow for sure. But I knew from the get-go you had a lot of influence. That's why you were on my dream team list. So I did admit to her, you guys, I didn't keep that a secret. I told her that I sought her out and I had a plan with her from the get-go. So, but we've created a really good friendship since, through this whole process too. So
yes.
but yeah, I told her I had an agenda with her for sure. I did admit it.
Yes,
Okay.
and I'm glad.
What is your thoughts on that, Amy, on your influence?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself there. I didn't really know how to answer that question exactly because, I was always one to take care of my own health. I think it's important to eat healthy, go to the gym, all that stuff. But I wasn't hugely involved like in my community. I'm still not really. But I am involved like with my friends. Janelle is someone who's actually under Poppy, who I didn't even know sold Plexus until after. It's kind of a long story, but I ended up getting under her after getting under somebody else. But she's just one of the most health conscious people that I know, her and another friend that also is taking it. And they're one of the healthiest people and most fit people that I knew. And so I think because people already knew that I was fairly health conscious, a lot of people just said from the get-go, like, I trust you because I know that you are kind of into this thing and that I wouldn't just tell people this stuff works if it didn't really work. And obviously one of my issues was acne, and that's just something that shows for itself. So I still have people come up to me and say like, whoa, your skin looks really, really good. That must work. Right. So it's just a testament in itself to show like people notice that. But yeah, I don't know if it's really growing much or what I really had to from the get-go,
Well, it sounds like you had a little bit of influence because people, like you said, people trusted your opinion and your knowledge on overall health already. And so now you're bringing something new into it and they're like, she's not just going to go jump onto something, like she knows what she's doing here. So now that you're bringing this into something new like they're going to trust your judgment on and stuff like that. So it sounds like it's continuing to grow. Okay, Poppy, do you have anything you want to add? Any more questions or anything you want to ask or anything like that? I got to go grab my charger real fast.
When we were talking about what you would have done, what I would have done different, I would have prepared Amy more. Well, let's back up. During the whole process, she would put me in these three-way messages with people, and I had done a lot of messaging with people. And so I thought in my mind that I could keep everyone straight, but I would have taken a notebook and jotted down from the get-go all their names and what their problem was so I could go back, because I realized after the 30 days was over, then that's really when the hard part comes. Then you go into maintenance and you go into keeping them and you go into problems. And I was scrambling a lot, just trying to backtrack and figure out, okay, what did this person what did they want Plexus for? What were they looking for? Like, I felt as her upline, I was really undone as far as going back. And I didn't even prepare Amy very well, because after 2 days, I think, after she hit Fast Gold, she got a message and she's like, now what? I have people that are unhappy. How do I get people to order next month? Like, we had been so busy, just pushing and the three-way messages for just getting them to sign up, that I feel like I should put a lot more effort into the time after. Because really, like what Kristen said, it is Fast Gold important. It's good. It's a good boost. But your long-term business, in my opinion, is really where it pays off. And so I would have done a lot more maintenance for Amy, even just if I could have kept everybody straight, like with a notebook and jotting down people's names, going back and helping her with follow-ups. That's a lot to follow up with. And I look at it I think I'd been in the business 6 months at that time, or maybe 8 months. And so you are a little more seasoned at that time. But I have to remember, in my first 30 days, Amy did amazing. for 30 days in, like go, like she just got on board. Like it was like someone had told her the process, but she went and researched, like she said, videos after videos, and she was active. Like so many people, I'll be like, okay, here's the groups, here's the message threads, like ask questions. And she would actually take the initiative and go ask questions. But I felt like I should have done more of that for her. I felt like I kind of just dropped her after 30 days, if that makes sense. So that's something I would have changed.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying because, you know, like you said, like you're focused so much on just like getting messages out there to get people that like once you get to the end of the month, the people who start at the beginning of the month, they're coming up on the end of their first 30 days. And so at that point, you know, you kind of lose focus on the follow-up process with those that start in the first 30 days. So yeah, I agree with you. I've even felt like that with Kristen too, with all of our, we started a lot of three-way conversations, but then she took a lot of what I was saying and went and started her own conversation. So she was a lot like Amy. Like she took the initiative and just kind of took it on herself and okay, like this is what she said, so this is what I need to say, so I'm going to go over here and do this and stuff like that. But then again with the follow-up for the people who were in the first part of the month, like you kind of lose track of that. So yeah, I'm with you on that. That's definitely a good like learning curve through this. That this is the first process that I've ever gone through, or I guess second, because I was really involved with Amy's too, for anybody going through Fast Gold. So it was definitely a learning experience with both of them for me. And I know it was for Poppy as well, because like Poppy said, she had only been in the business just a handful of months when we did all of this. So and then Kristen and Amy did them right back to back. Kristen's 30 days ended in the beginning of June, and then Amy did her 30 days throughout July. So they were just right back to each other. So okay, girls, do you have any do's or don'ts or any advice other than what we've already mentioned that you would want to tell somebody who is going through this process or considering going through it? I'll let you unmute yourselves, whoever wants to talk first.
Okay, am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I did jot down just a couple of things, and I'm sure I have more, but I would say for do's, definitely have faith in yourself. That's really important. And I know sometimes I didn't, and if you struggle with that, reach out to your upline, because like you helped me tons with that. And then of course, three-way chats. Definitely do the three-way chats. Ask your upline any questions that you have anytime. Share your story as you go along, how you're feeling, how things are working for you. That's kind of the do's. I'm sure I have more. I wrote some don'ts. Don't be afraid to talk to people. This was hard for me too at first. Keep in mind that you're helping people. You're not like pushing product on them. You're actually talking to them about something that could change their life and their health. So keep that in mind. Don't be too hard on yourself, and don't prejudge people. You never know, like the most fit person in the world that you see at the gym every single day may really need Plexus. And so just, you know, that's a tough one for me too, because I did that a lot. I was like, oh, I'm not going to message them. They're fine. They're doing great.
You were that fit girl that needed it.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely needed it. Big time. And so that's big, you know, so don't prejudge people. And I'm sure there's more of those too, but that's all I came up with for now.
No, those are great. I love those. Amy, what you got?
So I don't have too much that I thought of off the hop, but for me, it was focusing huge on the people and the customers themselves and people who aren't even customers yet. I found I really tried to wrap my head around the compensation plan for a really long time. And eventually it was just like, okay, I kind of get it, but I can't really focus on that because I know financially that will all fall into place if I'm doing the work behind it. And I wasn't trying to reach a specific financial goal to say like, if I do this, this, and this, I'll reach $1,000 next month or whatever the number is. To me, it's just something I'm hoping to build a steady income for later on down the road when I potentially won't have an income that I have right now. So it's just focusing on the people and having the heart and not just focusing on like the financial part of it, I guess, and just being really genuine in that way. And I feel like that just pays off in itself. And then just not taking personally when people say no. That's been my biggest challenge, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's hard, and especially for people like you two, because both of you said like you had results right out of the gate. So you're sitting here thinking like, I don't understand why nobody would want to get to jump on this. Why would nobody want to try this? And so when you're reaching out and pouring your heart out to these people, saying, I really believe in this, I really feel like this has benefits you, and they either ignore you or say no, like you're gonna take that hard. I totally get that. So I think
to reach out to you. Like I found with the maintenance portion, there's so many people who I'll go into my messages and just say, I need to touch base with everyone who's ordered and just see where they're at.
mm-hmm.
I rarely have anyone who has reached out to me, and by me reaching out to them, I discover they're having an issue with something, but they otherwise would never come and talk to me about it. So it's so important, I think, just to communicate with all of your customers on a regular basis, even if you feel like you're kind of always in their business. And somewhere along the way, someone said, like, give them warning ahead of time that you're going to be in their business with this because you care about them and you want them to succeed. And then they're forewarned that like you are going to message them at least once a month and see how they're going,
Yeah, I'm glad you threw that in there, because a lot of times we feel like, I've come across this with a few of my people, that we feel like we're bothering them whenever we reach out to them. Whereas in the beginning, when they're first starting out, like they don't really understand how these products are going to work. They're just trusting you based off of what you said that they would work. So, keeping in contact with them with the first couple of weeks, trying to see if, do we need to up your dosage? Do we need to down your dosage? How is your detox? Stuff like that. And like you said, like giving them forewarning, like setting up their expectations, like I'm going to be in your business. Like I'm going to be talking to you every 2 or 3 days, or at least once a week for the first month or two. And then after that, we'll go to once a month. And I always tell my people, I'm like, do not wait. If you have a concern or a question, do not wait for me to come to you. You come to me. I let them, and of course they never do. And then I reach out and then figure out they have a problem. I'm like, why didn't you say anything? Oh, well, I didn't want to bother you. I'm like, I told you from the get-go, come to me if you have a problem, So even if you put that out there for them, a lot of times they won't anyway. So, but that's the same as with people who are in your audience that you haven't talked to yet. Like like Amy said, like don't wait for them to come to you, because you're going to be waiting for forever. Like you never know who has a problem. You never know who needs not only the products, but the business, like the financial, like Amy said, like that bonus that she got paid off a huge chunk of debt that they have been working on little by little. And now that's nothing they have to worry about anymore. But had we not had a conversation with her about the potential of this income, we would have never known that. And we would have just let her be a wholesale customer, or eventually come into the business at her own time. So you never know what people are going through until you ask. So but yeah, definitely forewarn them, like, I'm going to be in your business. I need to know about your poop. I need to know about how much water you're drinking, everything like that. Like I need to know about that. It's important, because that's going to help me better help you. So I'm glad you pointed that out. Okay, real quick, I'm done with questions. If you guys wouldn't mind just sharing like a short little, like 2 or 3 minute version of your testimonies, and then we'll be done. Amy, we'll start with you since you're already unmuted.
Great. My testimony, goodness. I feel like I jumped into Plexus for my acne mostly, but without realizing I really needed a lot of help in other areas. And it was within that first week that I was like, oh, I have energy. Oh, I don't feel like I need a nap, or my mood is improved, or 2 weeks in, it was like I dancing in my van, like with my kids, and just like a happier person in general. And it was like, whoa, this stuff is amazing. And my skin was the last thing to improve, but I knew like I had to stick with it just because of the way I was feeling. And I didn't start on Triplex. In Canada, we don't have ProBio 5. So it took a while to get that, but I started with Slim, BioCleanse, and Vital Biome. And those 3 things alone were still huge. And the ProBio 5 is what's probably helped huge with my skin. So yeah, for me, I have 3 kids, expecting 1 more. And I'm a full-time caregiver for a 56-year-old special needs fellow. And so we know his life will not, well, who knows when he'll go. We don't know. But that's always been a fear in the back of my mind, that that income, for one, will be gone. If he gets sick, I don't get paid. And he is part of our family. It's not just the financial thing that would be missing, but that's just something I knew, that if something happens to that income, I'm going to have to be scrambling to find a job. And so right now I'm able to be at home with my kids. I'd have no idea what it's like to put my kids in daycare. And so I thought, if this is something I can jump into and eventually replace that income with, even if it's not for 5 years, that's kind of my long-term, huge, scary goal. And so I think for me, it was just like, if this works, I'll share it. And if I share it, I mean, if it works for me, it's going to work for other people. And hopefully, business-wise, it'll go good.
So this is honestly like a blessing in disguise for you too, because you have income that could potentially go away almost at any time. So you have the thought process of, I have to be replacing that income. I have to be thinking for the future. And when that income's gone, I have to do something else. So it was almost kind of something just kind of fell in your lap too. I love that. I love it. Okay, Kristen, now you can talk.
All right. So, I started on the triplex at the end of April, and I was kind of in a bad way, worse off than I really realized. But I'd say by the end of that very first week, my brain fog was gone. My depression was lifting. I had energy like through the roof. My cravings were already like going away. So many things were happening that I couldn't believe in that first week. I mean, I was completely amazed and shocked. And I know this sounds cheesy, but this is like the best way to describe it. In the first week when, I would even just walk outside and it was like the sky seemed brighter, stuff like that. I mean, things I could see clearer. It was just a miracle, really, all in all for me. Stop, Wyatt. And then, of course, right away for me, I started losing pounds and inches. And, I had been taking supplements from another health company prior that I did not realize had sucralose in them. And so I was ingesting sucralose for years and I did not realize it. Would you stop? And so, so I think that really, really messed my body up. Stop, Wyatt, really. Sorry. And once I stopped the sucralose and got started on these products, then the weight started coming off, the bloating started going down, everything I was experiencing just went away. So, sorry, I'm distracted. Uh-oh. I can't hear you now for some reason.
No, I was muted. Yeah, you had a pretty powerful testimony right out of the gate, because you started noticing difference within the first couple of days. I remember you missed, I didn't even know she got her products or that she had even started. And I knew she was getting ready to go out of town, so we were hoping the products would come before she went out of town. And so I messaged her, and I was like, did you get her products? I need to know so I can tell you how to start. And she's like, oh, yeah, I've been on them for like 3 days, and this is how I started, and I'm feeling great. And I'm like, all right then.
Full force.
Yeah, she did. So okay. Well, that's all I have. Poppy, do you have anything you want to add or anything? Real quick before you get off? Oh, hang on, honey, you're muted. Okay, go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
No, I think we covered everything. I think it was perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I love this call. I think this is such a good call. And hopefully this will, for those that watch later, will be encouraging for not only those that are, like I said, considering going through this process, for the leaders of those that are going to go into this process. I just wanted to do this because I want everybody to know, this isn't something to be afraid of. Both of you girls jumped in with both feet. You went full force head on. And you might have had just a little bit of doubt just because it is kind of scary because it's such a short amount of time. But I feel like you had so much support and stuff that the fears and doubts that you did have, we overcome very fast. So thank you guys for taking a couple minutes, I say a couple minutes, an hour out of your day to jump on and share this. I'm going to post this on the team pages. So if you will post, just like 1 or 2 examples of your messages in the comments. And then of course, if anybody has any questions or anything, I'm going to invite them to ask questions in the comments, and you guys can fill in from there. Okay. Thanks, girls. Y'all have a good one.